Hi, this is Marty with Skincare Science, and welcome back for another video. One thing I'd like to say is my videos up until this point have been very long, and I apologize for that, but I have a lot to say. With that being said, what I'm going to try to do is have things written on the board and also make them a lot shorter and not have spent so much time in editing. What I mean by that is I'm going to try to do this video in one shoot and not have to go into editing and basically just cut off the beginning and the end and then upload it. That'll make it easier on me, and it'll definitely make it easier on you because it'll be a lot shorter. All right, so what this video is about is skin barrier function and the stratum corneum. So you can see what I have written here, and what I want to talk about is just some details that you may or may not be aware of, and leave it at that. The word right here, percutaneous absorption, means Latin by way of skin. So basically what I'm going to do is describe the stratum corneum, the layers of the stratum corneum, and go all the way to the dermis and relate how the skin actually absorbs and works and functions. So when you study the skin from a medical standpoint, you study it from the dermis up. When you study the skin from aesthetics, you study it from stratum corneum down. Not sure why that is, but it is what it is, and so let's go ahead and get started. All right. So back to percutaneous absorption. That is the medical word for by way of skin and the study of topical products, anything medical, prescription, or skincare or aesthetic related, to get it into the skin and to know that it is and that it is getting there. There are some nuances in things as it relates to some side education that I'll give, maybe not in this video, maybe in another one, but it's a little bit more on the complicated side as far as opening the skin up and then closing it. So maybe that's another video topic, but let's get started on this. So the stratum corneum is one layer, and sometimes it's abbreviated with the letters SC, and it basically has 15 layers, and the stratum corneum is divided into two. It's divided into the stratum disjunctum, which is the top layer, which is what you touch, and then also the stratum compactum. That's the lower layer. So you can see I have the stratum corneum, stratum disjunctum, and the stratum compactum. The reason why that's important to know the difference is because it's helpful when dealing with acids and understanding the skin better. So how I'd like to describe that is this. The stratum compactum is extremely tight and compact corneocytes that are non-nucleated, extremely tight and full of desmosomes. Okay, and desmosomes are the basically the proteins that connect the corneocytes together. All right, so the stratum disjunctum is not as compact, and the reason that is because there needs to be a difference like this between corneocytes that are ready to slough away and ones that aren't. And also remember, the epidermis's role is to build the stratum corneum. So as I get into describing the skin deeper and relating the epidermis to the stratum corneum, why it's in two different layers and why this one is different than this one and why it's important as it relates to advanced aesthetics will become much more clear. Right here is what a corneocyte looks like, and well, not really, but okay. Keratin is 80% in the middle, and proteins, 20%, is the membrane on the outside. The key point to remember is that a corneocyte is non-nucleated, meaning what was inside of it when it was in the epidermal layers is now gone. So that's why you might see, well, the top of the skin is actually like the nail keratin. And it's also the same as like a horn, you know, a rhinoceros or a, you know, well, you get the point. Okay, so it's the same material, and it's important to know that it's non-nucleated, because if it is nucleated and it's in the stratum corneum, you get a lot of problems. Okay, so let's see this note here. Okay, so yes, I pointed this out as far as the stratum compactum has a higher percentage of desmosomes, and that will come back into play when I discuss advanced aesthetics and applying acids, and as it relates to trichloroacetic acid and Gesner peels as well. Okay, so just remember that higher concentration of desmosomes, higher concentration of sticky tapes, very, very tight, very compact, and the rest here is more loosely compact, ready for the exfoliating the natural exfoliating process. Okay, so let me see right here. Okay, and cell rises rapidly. Okay. This word right here is really tough. Keratosis, which is found in psoriasis. So basically what that means is if a cell within the epidermis rises too slow or too quickly, and its nucleus does not come out, you will get horrendous skin conditions. One very popular one would be psoriasis. What is supposed to happen in the epidermal layer as a cell reaches up into the stratum corneum is it needs to crack open like an egg, and what's inside and what the stratum corneum doesn't need will get washed away through the lymphatic system. If that process does not happen, you get a host of skin-related problems. Sensitive skin, obviously psoriasis, and there's a lot of other very complicated and very unpleasant skin disorders that arise from that condition. And mainly it's genetic and very difficult to treat topically, but there are some conditions that are treated with a prescription, and again, FDA approved and blah, blah, blah. The stratum corneum is basically 80% plus made up of proteins, and what's inside of each corneocyte, being keratin, is what is going to protect us from outside elements and keep the water in. I know you've heard me say that there's two functions of the skin. It's either hydrating or it's exfoliating. The reality is it's either protecting us from or holding water in. The other is basically my spin on it as it relates to skincare. And up here what we have is the stratum disjunctum is 15% water, and the stratum compactum is 30% water. Now, and the epidermis is about 70%. As it relates to the percentage of water and why it's important is this, and they don't fully understand this, but they do know that with transepidermal water loss and with a condition of dehydration, the process of exfoliation of the corneocyte cells in the stratum corneum within the stratum disjunctum is slowed or comes to a grinding halt. That's why hydration is extremely important. They say that when the skin becomes dehydrated, that process when that process happens of transepidermal water loss, and the water percentage within the stratum corneum, most notably the upper layer, the stratum disjunctum, below at 10% or less, is when the exfoliation process has a difficult time in fulfilling its natural goal. Think about this for a second. If you live in a cold climate, is your skin going to exfoliate easier or worse as it relates to the cold climate and hydration? So think about that, and I've been extremely fast in this video, and I hope that you definitely appreciate that, because I know I will after doing videos that are so long. Again, I want to keep them a little bit shorter, a lot shorter, and well, that's what I have for today. So to overview, we're going to be studying skin barrier function, starting off with the stratum corneum and its two layers, percutaneous absorption and the understanding of it, for the Latin word by way of skin, and how we as professionals apply skincare and advanced chemical peels using advanced acids. Want to beautify the skin. It's important for all of us to understand exactly how this works and exactly what's going on. This was a very simple overview of the stratum corneum, and in the next video I'll go into much deeper depth as far as it relates to the epidermis and cells that are moving into the stratum corneum. Now, what I hope to do is I hope to give one-off very important points that kind of give an overall view and give it in small doses. And hopefully 80% of the video will be worth watching, 10% will be not, and the most important 10% will be aha moments, light bulb moments that, well, make watching the video worth your time. All right. So thank you very much for watching. Again, this is Marty with Skincare Science, and we'll see you in the next video.